Welcome there, people. This is another episode of Minecraft mini games with Nothins. Today I'm bringing you Death Maze 1 and 2. This is my server spawn. Quaint little place. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Pigmen. Silly pigmen. So, back when Classic was a thing, and I didn't have much of anything to play, one of the games I tended to play was this maze server, and it was pretty good. It took me forever the first time trying to go through it, and you had to go through it in order to get rank to build, and oh my god, it took me hours. I ended up getting the rank out of pity, unfortunately. But it's pretty good, and I ended up becoming the resident maze maker, because every now and again we put in a fresh new one in. And I came up with this idea of the invisible maze. Now, it was just pillars, and between those pillars you would have toxic gas. Now, this was MC LOL. It was just data blocks. It wasn't an actual block. So, in Minecraft, they don't actually have that. Now, I'm pretty sure, not pretty sure, but there's most likely a plugin or something for a server that you can have air blocks that kill or whatever. It is what it is. Don't really care about it. This way works just as fine. It doesn't need any mods. But what it is, and I'll show you in here, is pillars with pressure plates in between them. Now, you can set this up as a 3x3 with 3 pressure plates between pillars. You can leave it as it is like this with 2. You can also do it with 1 and make a more compact but harder maze. I just kind of like this. It gives you a little bit more room to move around and wiggle between pillars. That way you don't accidentally step on one. Even in this version, you will still step on one. It's not as likely. So what you would do is, in between the pillars that you don't want people going through, you'd put in the /kill@p command. Now, whether or not this would work for an unmodified version, or if this would work on a unmodified bucket server version, I don't know. I'm not sure what command it belongs to, because there's quite a few plugins on my server. So, whether or not it works would have to be up to you. Now, as you can see, there is a path, and there are a few dead ends. The dead ends just kind of give you a little something to play with. You may want to change this to a teleport instead of a kill, because the kill is a bit harsh, and in my server you respawn in a different world, and it makes it a pain to get back in. I usually follow people behind them, and if they die, I teleport them back. I shouldn't really, but I just kind of do out of pity. And you also notice that one of these pressure plates actually kills the person, and everybody has a problem with that. The exit's right here. As soon as they come out, they come right and they head straight for the door. They will almost 99% of the time step on that pressure plate. They're like, oh really, I can't get out? I'm like, no, you're stupid, you just didn't take the right door. And that is the Death Maze 1. Quite a long while after, and this is a lot more recent, I ended up doing a second version, because I wanted something a little bigger, and I wanted to do an actual maze, because it reminded me of the older server. So, this is what I ended up doing, is I made it longer, a little bit wider, and a little bit harder, kind of. I mean, I can't actually go under and check, because it's only 1 block wide high now, because I was trying to keep this compact. Unfortunately, that didn't really work too well, so I'm not going to show you the correct path, because I'll end up dying. So I'm going to see if I can't get to the other side here, just like this, and then we go up to the second floor. Now, on the second floor, there are 4x4 is 16 pillars. 16 with 4 buttons on each is 64 buttons, I think, if that my quick math is correct. Don't hold me to that. So that's 64 buttons that are here. 6 of those buttons will turn off a torch, which turns off a redstone line here, which goes and opens up these doors. However, some of them will kill you, some of them will only teleport you, some do nothing, and some send derogatory messages to the player. I don't know which ones. Apparently that's a correct button right there. I was not expecting to actually hit one. Trying to find one that doesn't really do anything, and I can't. Oh, of course, I get the dead one. But you get my point. So let me get my materials back here. That pretty much just sums up this entire room right there. Is just that. Now the Death Maze 1 doesn't need any restarts. Death Maze 2 does. You kind of have to go through and break all these little clocks because there's no way for me to actually reset it in such a confined little space. I didn't really plan on that. But that is the second room. The third room is just a true and false. Right for true, left for false. And a lot of these I don't know. I mean, I consider myself a somewhat average intelligence, but I kind of just know random stuff at times. Of course, I swear I'm just getting stupider and stupider as time goes on, so that whole average just kind of goes to below average. But it's just a true or false. It's not really a maze. If you get even one of them wrong, you'd come in here, lock in your answer. If one's wrong, it will kill you. If they're all right, it will just open up the doors over here, and then you quickly run in and they'll close behind you. Now, the actual maze part is right here. There are 3 buttons that you need to hit. In the lower left corner, there's a button that gives you access to the upper right corner. It will retract the pistons, and it'll allow you to pass, and then in the upper right corner, there is also a button that will give you access to the upper left, and then in the upper left, there is a button that gives you access to the end where the iron doors are at in the upper left that you can see there. Right here. Now once you're done, you come to the most evil part of the maze yet that nobody has been able to figure out. Now of course I haven't made anybody come through and do this, but it is a pressure plate maze, and you gotta find the correct one. If you don't find the correct one, which I'm surprised I haven't yet, because I'm just guessing at this point. Oh, I know. I'm in Vanish, but if you're not in Vanishes, which most people won't, if you don't step in the correct path, you will automatically get teleported back into this spot right here. Which is quite damn harsh, actually. Because you can make it all the way, and then you get teleported back, and then you're stuck, and you have no clue what path you took. It's pretty much eviler than the Death Maze, because the Death Maze you kind of remember. There's not that much to remember, but with this, it's a single file path all the way through, some twists and turns. There's no shortcutting it. So it kind of makes this the eviler, I guess, if you want to use that word. Now once you pass, you come back here, and then you can laugh at all the poor suckers that had to go through here. And then you come to the final challenge. Do you take a left, or do you take a right?